The mysterious power of Capricorn's silence. They don't scream. They don't chase. They simply disappear. And when they do, karma follows. There's a reason people fear losing a Capricorn. It's not because they cause drama. It's not because they raise their voice. It's because when a Capricorn is done, they are done. No warning. No explanation. Just silence. And in that silence, a deep karmic energy begins to ripple through your life. You see, Capricorn is not like the others. They don't play games. They don't pretend to be okay when they're not. But they also don't make a scene when they're hurt. No tantrums. No breakdowns. Just a quiet shift, a silent withdrawal that feels like the earth itself has moved beneath your feet. And by the time you realize it, they've already built a new world. Without you. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, the planet of time, karma, and responsibility. In astrology, Saturn is the great teacher, the taskmaster of the cosmos. It doesn't deal in shortcuts. It demands growth, patience, maturity. So, what happens when a sign ruled by Saturn is hurt? They don't seek revenge. They become the lesson. Let that sink in. They don't need to destroy you. Life will do that on its own. Capricorn simply steps out of the way and allows karma to do what karma does best, return energy to its rightful source. Most people don't truly understand Capricorn. They label them as cold, distant, too serious. But that's because they don't see what's underneath. They don't see the emotional oceans that Capricorn keeps hidden beneath those calm, stoic eyes. They don't understand the weight Capricorn carries, the expectations, the burdens, the responsibilities, silently, without asking for help. And when someone dares to betray that kind of strength, when someone takes that loyalty for granted, when someone mocks the silence, thinking it's weakness, they awaken something ancient, something sacred, something karmic. Capricorn isn't just a zodiac sign. It's an archetype, a cosmic builder, a soul forged in the trials of time. This is the sign that climbs mountains, that rebuilds after destruction, that survives storms without crying for shelter. But even a mountain has a limit. And when that limit is crossed, Capricorn doesn't explode. They exit. No warning. No storm. Just stillness. A stillness that haunts. A stillness that whispers, "You had your chance." In this video, we're going to unlock a secret that most people never realize until it's too late. Pushpin 12 reasons why you should never hurt a Capricorn, or karma will silently punish you. Because when a Capricorn walks away, they don't just leave you behind. They leave you with a lesson. One that Saturn will keep teaching you, until you finally understand it. Thought balloon. But before we begin, take a moment to reflect. Have you ever lost a Capricorn and couldn't explain why it hurt so much? Or are you a Capricorn who's had to walk away from someone who didn't deserve your loyalty? White right pointing backhand index. Share your story in the comments below. You're not alone. Your experience might be the mirror someone else needs right now. And if you're new to our channel Zodiac Secrets Revealed, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another soul awakening exploration into the zodiac. This journey is just beginning. Reason 1: the sacred armor. Why Capricorn's pride and dignity are not up for negotiation. Capricorn shield hash. They say everyone has a line. For Capricorn, that line is dignity. You can joke with them, challenge them, even frustrate them. But the moment you step on their pride, that quiet, deeply built structure of integrity they've crafted stone by stone, you won't hear them scream. You'll hear nothing. Because that's when they leave. Most people don't realize how sacred dignity is to a Capricorn. This isn't about arrogance or ego. It's about self-respect, earned through decades of inner discipline. Ruled by Saturn, Capricorn is the sign of endurance, structure, and self-mastery. They build their identity not on how others see them, but on how true they are to their own code. And make no mistake, Capricorn has a code. They might not speak it aloud, but they live by it. Every single day. Briefcase. Let me tell you a story. There was once a Capricorn woman named Lena, a high-level executive in New York City. She wasn't flashy, wasn't loud. She worked hard. She stayed late. She never gossiped, never cut corners. People respected her, but they didn't always understand her. Then came a younger, louder co-worker who thought she could play the politics game. She disrespected Lena in a meeting, mocked her ideas, laughed at her old-school ways in front of the board. Lena didn't say a word. She didn't flinch. But 2 weeks later, Lena submitted her resignation. Not to run away, but to step into a better position that had been waiting quietly in the wings. And the company, it collapsed in structure within months. That woman was fired. Lena, promoted elsewhere. Dignity doesn't shout. Dignity simply moves on. This is the essence of Capricorn. They are not impulsive. They do not crave drama. But once you violate the respect they've earned, once you undermine their dignity, you trigger something deep. Not rage, not tears, but a spiritual severing. You'll think everything is fine, until one day, they're gone. Phone calls go unanswered. Their presence fades. The bond unravels without explanation. And you're left wondering, what happened? Here's what happened. You underestimated the silent strength of someone who's carried more than you'll ever know. #Capricorns don't need revenge. They need peace. They've already forgiven you. But they've also re-evaluated you and decided you're no longer worthy of their energy. They've climbed too many mountains to be pulled down by someone who doesn't know the value of respect. They don't need applause. They don't need you to see their greatness. They already know it. But they do need to protect it. And if that means cutting you off, so be it. Performing arts, and here's the twist. You won't even know the moment you lost them. Capricorn detachment is not like other signs. It's strategic. It's final. It's a sacred act of self-rescue. They'll smile in passing, nod in meetings, even reply to your texts for a while. But emotionally, spiritually, energetically, they've already left the building. By the time you feel the void, they've already found higher ground. Pushpin, let me ask you something. Have you ever lost the respect of a Capricorn and only realized it after they stopped calling, stopped showing up, stopped caring? Tell us in the comments. Or if you are a Capricorn, tell us what pride and dignity mean to you. Your voice might just help someone finally understand the silent strength they've been taking for granted. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed. Because the deeper you go, the more truth you'll uncover, not just about Capricorn, but about yourself. Reason 2. Their loyalty is legendary. Betray it once, and it's gone forever. Capricorn Blackheart. If you've ever had a Capricorn on your side, you've had a fortress. Not a cheerleader. Not a yes person. But a fortress of loyalty, grounded in reality, silence, and depth. Capricorns don't throw the word loyalty around like candy at a parade. For them, loyalty is sacred. It's not romantic fluff. It's not conditional on how well things are going. It's a vow unspoken, but binding. Something ancient. Something rooted in their Saturnian soul. But here's the truth people don't see coming. If you break that loyalty even once, it's gone. Forever. Hammer and wrench loyalty, to a Capricorn, is work. Real work. They show up when others disappear. They support when no one's watching. They fight for you when you're not even fighting for yourself. Because loyalty for Capricorn is not performative, it's practical. It's action. It's stability. If you're in their circle, they'll protect you like family. You become part of their structure. And if you know anything about Capricorn, it's this. They protect their structure with everything they've got. So when you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just hurting a person. You're fracturing the foundation of something they were building, something long-term, solid, real. And once a foundation cracks, no matter how hard you try to repair it, Capricorn sees it for what it is, permanently unstable. Broken heart real-life story time, the friend who thought sorry was enough. Capricorns don't make friends easily. They test you. They observe. But once they let you in, it's because they believe in you, not just emotionally, but ethically. I knew a Capricorn named Marcus. Quiet, humble, always the one helping others move, lend money, stay late at work, support everyone. One of his best friends started dating someone who spoke badly about Marcus behind his back, and he said nothing. When Marcus found out, he didn't confront him. He didn't call him out. He just stopped replying. 6 months later, the friend called him in a panic, saying, "I'm sorry, man. I should have stood up for you." Marcus simply said, "It's okay. I've moved on." And he had. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. That's what Capricorn loyalty is. Quiet, powerful, final. Why it hurts more when Capricorn leaves. The thing is, Capricorns don't ask for much. They don't need constant attention or praise. But when you have their loyalty, you have something rare. Something stable in a world that's always shifting. So when they finally walk away, you don't just lose a person. You lose a guardian, a planner, a silent warrior. You lose someone who remembered your birthday even when you forgot theirs. You lose someone who stayed awake helping you finish your resume when you didn't believe in yourself. You lose the person who saw your potential, even when you were still lost in your flaws. And the punishment? They won't scream. They won't block you. They'll just let you live with the echo of their absence. And believe me, it echoes. Speech balloon want to know the most painful part? They never give a big speech when they go. They don't say, "You betrayed me." They don't warn you, "This is your last chance." Nope. They just reduce the bond to silence. And that silence becomes the lesson. Microphone comment prompt for viewers. Are you a Capricorn who's walked away from someone you were once fiercely loyal to? Or have you ever lost a Capricorn and realized too late what their quiet presence meant in your life? Tell us in the comments. We want to hear your story. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is what you no longer say at all. And don't forget to subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed, where we dive into the deeper soul of the Zodiac. Crystal Ball coming up next. Reason 3, they are patient. But not forever. You think Capricorn is always calm and composed. True. But even the most solid mountain crumbles if you keep pounding at its base. Let's talk about how Capricorn's patience is both a blessing and a hidden warning. Reason 3, they are patient. But not forever. Capricorns are famous for their patience. They wait. They watch. They endure. But here's the cosmic truth no one tells you. Their patience is not infinite. When a Capricorn gives you time to grow, time to change, time to fix what's broken, it's not because they're naive. It's because they're strategic. And once they've decided you've wasted that time, the door doesn't slam shut. It closes slowly, quietly, and forever. Saturn's signature, patience with purpose. Ruled by Saturn, the planet of time, karma, and discipline, Capricorns understand that life unfolds in seasons. They don't rush decisions. They don't panic. They play the long game. So yes, they'll give you space to explain. They'll give you time to make things right. They'll even forgive, in silence. But every Capricorn has a silent clock ticking inside them. And once it runs out, there's no reset button. No begging. No bargaining. No, I was just going through a phase. You had your chance. And it's gone. Candle true story, the relationship that took too long to change. A Capricorn man named Elijah stayed with his partner for 7 years. 7 years of trying. 7 years of hoping she would grow up, show up, and meet him halfway. She always said she would. But her actions never matched. He never yelled. Never threatened to leave. He just quietly kept track. And one morning, he made her coffee, kissed her forehead, and left a note on the kitchen table. You knew what I needed. I waited. Now it's time I give that to myself. She called, texted, begged. But Elijah had already waited too long. This is Capricorn. They don't explode. They evolve without you. Left pointing magnifying glass why you may never see it coming. The problem is that most people confuse Capricorn's stillness with tolerance. They think, oh, they're fine, they haven't said anything. Wrong. Capricorns observe. They log everything. They give you space, not because they're weak, but because they're wise. But while you're wasting time, Capricorn is doing math. How many chances have I given? Have they really changed? Is my energy being honored here? And when that inner equation says, This isn't worth it anymore. They act. Not with rage, not with drama, but with finality. Hourglass with flowing sand, the real pain? It's not what they say, it's what they stop saying. They'll stop texting. They'll stop asking if you're okay. They'll stop sharing pieces of their heart. And the worst part, they won't tell you they're leaving. They'll just fade. Gracefully. Completely. Eternally. By the time you realize they're gone, they've already started a new chapter without resentment, but without you. Speaking head in silhouette, let's talk. Have you ever pushed a Capricorn past their limit, thinking they'd always be there? Or are you a Capricorn who stayed too long in something you outgrew? Tell us in the comments. Your patience might be your greatest virtue, but also your biggest heartbreak. And if you want to understand your zodiac self more deeply, don't forget to subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed. We're just getting started. Crystal ball coming up next. Reason 4, they never forget. Forgive. Sometimes. Forget. Never. Let's talk about the ancient memory of Capricorn and why hurting them becomes a karmic stain you'll feel, even years later. Reason 4, they never forget, and that's not a threat, it's a warning. You may think time erases pain. You may believe that silence equals peace. But when it comes to Capricorn, they never forget. Not because they're bitter, not because they want revenge, but because memory is their survival tool. Capricorn's memory isn't emotional, it's strategic. Capricorns don't hold grudges for attention. They hold memories to protect themselves. See, while others explode in the heat of the moment, Capricorn records. They analyze. They absorb every detail, not just what you did, but how it made them feel. And they file it away. Not to punish you later, but to never let it happen again. Left pointing magnifying glass, the hidden intelligence behind their emotional memory. People often say, but I apologized. I explained myself. I thought we were past that. No. You thought they forgot. But Capricorn remembers. They remember how you dismissed them when they were vulnerable. They remember how you made jokes at their expense in front of others. They remember how you said you'd change, and didn't. Even if they never bring it up again, it's there. Not on the surface, but in their decisions. In their distance. In their silence. Book story time. The Capricorn who walked away without a scene. Julia was a Capricorn who dated someone she deeply loved. She forgave his lies once, twice, 3 times. Each time, she stayed silent. Each time, she gave a little more of her trust, knowing she shouldn't. But the 4th time, she didn't cry. She didn't shout. She just packed her bags and left a note. You thought I was staying because I forgot. I was staying to see if you'd remember who I am. She never contacted him again. That's Capricorn. They never forget. And when they act, it's because they finally remembered who they are. Closed lock with key, why you can't undo the damage. This is the harsh truth. Once Capricorn stores the memory of how you hurt them, it becomes part of how they see you. You might still be around. You might think you're rebuilding. But they're already distant. Not out of cruelty, out of caution. Because Capricorn doesn't believe in putting their hand back into the fire. Not twice. Not ever. And if you ever had a place in their heart, and you shattered it, that memory becomes the blueprint for their boundaries moving forward. They may be kind to you. They may even work with you again. But that door, it will never open the same way. Speech balloon, let's talk. Have you ever been on the receiving end of Capricorn's memory? Or are you a Capricorn who silently remembers what others have long forgotten? Tell us in the comments. Your story might help someone finally understand why forgetting isn't healing. And don't forget to subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed. We're unpacking the truths nobody dares to say, until now. Crystal ball coming up next. Reason 5, they think long-term. You're either in their future, or you're a lesson from the past. Capricorns don't just love for the moment. They build for a legacy. And when you hurt them, they make one of the most powerful decisions of all. Whether to build their future with you or without you. Reason 5, they think long-term. You're either in their future, or you're a lesson from the past. Capricorn chart with upward trend. Capricorns don't think in days. They think in decades. They don't make decisions based on impulse or emotion. They make decisions based on legacy. So if you hurt a Capricorn and expect a quick forgiveness, or worse, hope they'll just forget it and move on without consequence, you've misunderstood everything about who they are. Saturn's influence, the architect of time. As the zodiac sign ruled by Saturn, Capricorn has a rare relationship with time. They don't rush. They don't chase. They observe how people behave consistently, not just once. Not just when things are good. And the question they're always asking is, can this person build with me? Not can they make me feel good today? But will they still stand with me 5 years from now? 10 years? A lifetime? When the answer becomes no, Capricorn doesn't argue. They don't retaliate. They simply shift their blueprint and start building without you in it. How Capricorns handle betrayal? Cold? No. Calculated? Absolutely. You might not even realize how much thought went into their distance. But they've already spent nights awake reevaluating. They've already imagined 2 possible futures. One where they forgive you and keep building, and one where they leave and never come back. And if you've pushed them too far, they'll choose the second future. And they'll do it without noise. Not because they don't care, but because they care about their future more than your excuses. Building construction true story, the Capricorn who chose her own empire. Sophia was a Capricorn entrepreneur who built her business from the ground up. She brought in a childhood friend to help manage operations, trusting her with finances, plans, and dreams. That friend began cutting corners, disrespecting deadlines, talking behind Sophia's back. Sophia didn't react. Instead, she waited, observed, confirmed. Then, one Friday evening, she delivered a simple message. Thank you for everything. This chapter is closed. The business didn't fail. It thrived. But that friend was never part of her blueprint again. That's how Capricorn works. They don't ruin things. They rebuild them without you. Repeat button. A Capricorn's exit strategy is not impulsive, it's engineered. If they pull away, it's not a reaction. It's a calculation. They've thought about the ripple effects. They've measured the impact. And they've accepted the loss before they even say goodbye. So if you're watching a Capricorn withdraw from your life, bit by bit, day by day, understand this. That's not hesitation. That's precision. And when the door closes, it will not reopen. Not because of pride, because of planning. Capricorns don't just let go. They let go intentionally and with purpose. And here's the most chilling truth. Once Capricorn moves you from future partner to past lesson, there's no ceremony, no explosive ending, no dramatic farewell, just silence. And then, nothing. You'll still be standing there, holding memories. They'll be 5 steps ahead, already laying bricks for a life that never had room for betrayal. Ready for the next chapter? Reason 6. They respect hard work, take them for granted, and watch them vanish. Capricorns are the builders of the zodiac. They show up early, stay late, and carry the weight no one sees. But the moment you stop respecting that effort, they'll stop giving it. Reason 6. They respect hard work, take them for granted, and watch them vanish. Capricorn. Capricorn doesn't ask for perfection, but they do ask for effort. And when you stop putting in the effort, when you start expecting them to carry the weight alone, when you take their work ethic for granted, they won't complain, they won't fight. They'll just leave and never look back. Snow-capped mountain. Capricorn is the climber, but they expect you to climb too. This is a sign that was born to endure. Capricorns build empires brick by brick, day by day, often in silence. They don't look for applause. They don't seek shortcuts. They believe in the honor of effort, and they expect those around them to live by that same ethic. So when you're in their life, romantically, professionally, or even platonically, and they notice that you're coasting, slacking, taking their labor for granted, that's not a little issue to them. That's an ethical violation. Because to Capricorn, effort equals respect. And when you stop trying, you're not just being lazy, you're disrespecting them. Fire story time. the Capricorn who handled everyone's load until one day she dropped it. Natalie was a Capricorn who worked as a project manager. The kind of person who showed up early, stayed late, never asked for credit. Her co-workers praised her, but also dumped work on her, day after day. She took it. 4 months. Then, one day, her boss asked her to train someone who'd been promoted over her, someone who barely showed up on time. Natalie smiled, nodded, and gave her 2-week notice. She didn't argue. She didn't vent. She didn't even ask for a raise. She simply decided, if I'm not valued, I'm gone. The company panicked. Offered more money. Apologized. But Capricorn doesn't stay where effort is unrecognized. Because they know this truth. Where my energy is not honored, my presence is no longer required. Capricorn's effort isn't emotional, it's foundational. This isn't about needing praise. It's about needing partnership. Capricorn is more than willing to do the heavy lifting emotionally, financially, spiritually. But when the load becomes one-sided, when they realize you're depending on them without offering anything in return, they won't ask you to do more. They'll just stop doing it for you. This is how Capricorn withdraws. Not by lashing out. Not by demanding reciprocity. But by redirecting their energy to something that gives back. The silent collapse of a Capricorn's effort. Capricorns don't announce when they stop trying. They simply stop. Responding immediately. Checking in. Taking the lead. Fixing your mistakes. Saving the relationship. And the scariest part? They won't tell you they've stopped trying. You'll just wake up one day and realize they're already gone. The ultimate lesson? Never mistake a Capricorn's consistency for obligation. They're not staying because they have to. They're staying because they choose to. But once they realize their effort is being used, they'll disappear with the same quiet precision that built the relationship in the first place. And when you try to rebuild, you'll be shocked to discover they've already moved on to a place where their effort is respected. Ready to keep going? Reason 7. They are resilient, you can hurt them, but you'll never break them. Capricorns don't just survive pain, they grow through it. And when you hurt them, don't expect to see them fall apart. Expect them to rise higher without needing you to watch. Reason 7. They are resilient, you can hurt them, but you'll never break them. Capricorn fire. There's a reason Capricorn is symbolized by the mountain goat. They climb. Even when the rocks crumble beneath them. Even when the wind howls and the night stretches long and cold. They keep going. And if you hurt a Capricorn thinking they'll break, you'll be stunned to see them rebuild stronger, smarter, and more untouchable than before. Fire the inner steel behind Capricorn's calm. Capricorns don't fall apart. They fall inward. They retreat, reflect, recalibrate. And when they emerge again, they're no longer vulnerable, they're bulletproof. This isn't emotional suppression. It's emotional alchemy. They take the betrayal, the disappointment, the heartbreak, and turn it into strategy, focus, and wisdom. They rise. And they never rise the same. Hammer and pick true story, the Capricorn who rose from ashes. Andre was a Capricorn who built a tech startup with his best friend. He invested everything, time, money, trust. And then, that friend backstabbed him. Stole the code. Stole the credit. Left him with nothing. For a while, Andre disappeared. He didn't post online. He didn't call anyone. He didn't fight back. But 2 years later, Andre launched a new company. One that surpassed the original. He didn't mention the betrayal. He didn't retaliate. He just outgrew the pain, publicly, silently, and majestically. That's Capricorn. They don't clap back. They come back. Bigger. Better. Unbothered. Their pain is fuel, not a prison. Many people expect visible wounds. They look for tears. They look for public breakdowns. But with Capricorn, you won't get the satisfaction of seeing them fall. Because they know this truth. My pain is my power if I learn from it. And they always learn. Capricorns study pain like a language. They ask, what did this teach me? Where did I ignore my intuition? How can I evolve so this never happens again? While you're celebrating their downfall, they're planning their next empire. Crossed swords, the illusion of stillness. Capricorns are still like the ocean at night, silent, but infinitely deep. And while others are loud in their healing, Capricorn heals in silence, in structure, in solitude. So when they come back into your life, they might smile, they might act cordial. But don't be fooled. They're no longer who you left behind. They've outgrown the version of themselves that once allowed that pain. They've leveled up. And you're no longer part of that elevation. The power of Capricorn resilience. You cannot break what's built to withstand storms. And Capricorn was born for adversity. Because hardship doesn't make them bitter. It makes them better. And when the dust settles, they'll be standing not because they weren't hurt, but because they refused to stay broken. Coming up next, Black Right Arrow #Part 9, Reason 8. They know their worth and they'll never let you define it. You can doubt them, dismiss them, undervalue them, but a Capricorn never depends on your approval. They've already claimed their worth, with or without you. Reason 8. They know their worth and they'll never let you define it. Capricorn crown. Some people seek validation like air. They need applause, approval, constant reassurance. But Capricorn, they don't need you to tell them who they are. They already know. And if you underestimate them, they won't argue. They won't convince you. They'll simply show you the door, politely and permanently. Self-worth forged in Saturn's fire. Capricorn's self-worth doesn't come from popularity. It comes from history, their own. They've climbed through setbacks. They've earned every victory, every scar, every ounce of self-respect. They didn't wake up confident. They built it. So when you question their value, when you treat them as replaceable or dismissible, you're not just being disrespectful. You're exposing your own smallness. And Capricorn sees it immediately. Performing arts storytime. The Capricorn who walked away from almost love. Taylor, a Capricorn woman, was in a long-term situationship with someone who refused to commit. Excuses, delays, mixed signals. She didn't nag. She didn't beg. She simply watched and waited. Until one night, after yet another vague conversation about maybe someday, she stood up and said, "I am not a maybe. I am a yes or nothing at all." And she left. No tears, no guilt, no hesitation. Because a Capricorn would rather be alone with dignity than attached to someone who can't see their value. Why you can't shake a Capricorn's self-image. Capricorns may love deeply, but they do not need to be loved to feel complete. They appreciate connection, but never at the cost of their identity. They'll give you loyalty, energy, time, even silence when necessary. But the moment you try to belittle them, make them doubt themselves, or chip away at their confidence, they'll recognize it instantly, and they'll begin the quiet process of extraction. You won't even know it's happening, but piece by piece, they'll remove their presence from your life until one day you're standing in a room where their energy once lived, and it's gone. The most dangerous confidence is silent. Capricorn doesn't prove their worth through words. They prove it through withdrawal. And that's what makes them powerful. Because nothing is more terrifying than someone who walks away without needing to make you understand why. Capricorns don't explain their worth. They embody it. If you can't see it, they'll leave you in the darkness of your own blindness and carry their light elsewhere. Warning sign #final warning. Don't mistake humility for insecurity. Capricorns are humble but not uncertain. They'll let you speak. They'll let you underestimate them. They'll let you make your little comments, your subtle dismissals. But when the time comes, they'll rise in silence above you, beyond you, without you. Because their value was never up for negotiation. On deck next. Reason 9. They are not afraid to let go when it's time to leave. They don't look back. Capricorn doesn't cling. They calculate. And when the cost outweighs the connection, they don't fight for what hurts. They release with grace, with finality, with no return. Reason 9. They are not afraid to let go when it's time to leave. They don't look back. Capricorn open door. Some people leave with noise. Capricorns leave with silence. No warnings. No guilt trips. No breakdowns. Just a clean, clear exit. That hits you like an aftershock when you realize they're not coming back. Letting go is not weakness, it's Capricorn's wisdom. Capricorns don't give up easily. They stay. They invest. They build. But once they realize something no longer aligns with their values, growth, or peace, they let go. Not because they're cruel, not because they're angry, but because they respect themselves too much to stay somewhere they're not honored. Letting go is a Capricorn's way of choosing truth over illusion, evolution over stagnation, inner peace over external comfort. True story, the quiet departure that spoke volumes. Aaron, a Capricorn man, was in a long-term relationship that slowly began to unravel. There were no huge fights, just 1,000 small dismissals, a growing emotional distance. Every time he tried to talk, she'd say, "You're overthinking it." He stopped bringing it up, stopped explaining himself. Then one Sunday morning, after making her coffee and folding the laundry, he packed a single suitcase. Left a note that read, "I've been overthinking it because you've stopped thinking about us." And he disappeared. No texts, no follow-ups, no return. Because Capricorn doesn't announce their boundaries, they enforce them. The emotional logic behind the goodbye. To Capricorn, holding on to something toxic isn't strength, it's sabotage. They understand that not everyone is meant to stay, that not every bond is meant to last, that sometimes walking away is how you preserve your soul. And when they walk away, it's not impulsive. It's been calculated, measured, accepted. They've already cried. They've already mourned. They've already buried the future you never protected. And now they're just executing the exit plan. Scales #Capricorn doesn't ask for closure, they create it. Don't expect a Capricorn to chase you for answers. Don't expect long messages or dramatic farewells. They've already closed the chapter internally. Their peace does not depend on your apology. And if you try to come back later, thinking time has softened their decision, you'll be met with polite distance, a warm hello, and a wall of non-returnable energy. Why Capricorns letting go hurts so much? Because they don't leave with hatred. They leave with stillness. With peace so profound, you finally understand how chaotic the relationship had become. You're left with the ghost of what was, while they move forward into what could have been, if only you had met them halfway. Capricorn doesn't beg. Capricorn doesn't chase. Capricorn lets go, completely. Ready for what's next. Reason 10. They don't need your validation, they know their power without your approval. While others beg for likes and praise, Capricorns walk through life with the quiet power of self-trust. They don't ask you to believe in them. They already do. Reason 10. They don't need your validation, they know their power without your approval. Capricorn. In a world that screams, "Look at me," Capricorn whispers, "I know who I am." They don't crave applause. They don't beg for recognition. They don't need you to say they're good enough. Because they already decided, they are. The Saturn lesson, inner authority over outer approval. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline, responsibility, and maturity. And one of Saturn's greatest teachings? Self-validation. Capricorns don't wait for the world to tell them they've made it. They define their own milestones. They measure success in silence. They celebrate in solitude. So when you hurt a Capricorn and expect them to fall apart without your praise or attention, you're mistaking self-possession for dependence. And you'll learn quickly. They never needed your spotlight to shine. Waxing crescent moon storytime, the Capricorn who walked without looking back. Kendall, a Capricorn artist, was in a relationship with someone who constantly criticized her dreams. Art isn't a real job. You're wasting time. You're not even that good. She never argued. Never tried to prove him wrong. She just kept painting. One day, she got an opportunity to feature her work in a gallery. She didn't even invite him. She went. She sold 5 pieces. She made connections. She came home, packed her belongings, and left him with a note. "You didn't have to believe in me. I already did." The power of self-belief. Here's what makes Capricorn dangerous to those who manipulate through insecurity. They're immune to it. Capricorns have already faced their own shadows. They've already questioned their worth. They've already battled self-doubt in the quiet hours when no one was watching. So when someone outside tries to shake their confidence, it doesn't stick. Because their belief in themselves wasn't built on compliments. It was built on consistency. They don't flex their strength, they stand in it. Capricorn doesn't perform. They embody. They show up early. They get things done. They handle life with competence, class, and composure. And they don't need you to notice. Because they're not doing it for you. They're doing it because they have a standard and they won't live below it. This is why when you withdraw love, attention, or approval to try and control a Capricorn, it backfires. Because you'll look back, expecting them to chase you, and see them thriving without you. Fire, no validation needed. No explanation given. Capricorns don't need your approval to succeed. They don't need your permission to leave. They don't need your validation to know they matter. They've already validated themselves. Quietly, relentlessly, permanently. Next up. Reason 11. They don't settle for less than they deserve, and once they're done, it's final. Capricorns have high standards, and not just for others, but for themselves. Disrespect them once, and you may never get another chance. They'd rather walk alone than be loved halfway. Reason 11. They don't settle for less than they deserve, and once they're done, it's final. Capricorn scales hash. Capricorn doesn't fall in love with potential. They fall in love with standards. Standards they've built through hardship, failure, triumph, and self-respect. So when you offer them half-hearted love, inconsistent effort, or conditional loyalty, they don't argue. They don't beg. They exit. And when they leave, it's not a warning. It's a verdict. Their standards are not arrogance, they're survival. A Capricorn's expectations come from lived experience. They've been overlooked. They've been underestimated. They've been asked to settle. And they've chosen, time and again, not to. Why? Because they've earned everything they have through discipline, sweat, silence, and resilience. So if you can't match that level of effort, commitment, or clarity, they won't lower their standards. They'll remove you from the equation. Fire, real story. The Capricorn who walked from good enough. Melanie, a Capricorn, dated someone who checked all the basic boxes. Kind, attractive, ambitious, but also inconsistent. Late with communication, avoidant in conflict, unclear about the future. He kept saying, "This is how I am, you're just too intense." Melanie didn't protest. She just watched. And then one day, without warning, she said, "I know what I bring to the table. I'm not going to argue with someone who's still figuring out if they're hungry." And she walked. No tears. No second thoughts. No unfinished business. That's Capricorn. They don't need a perfect partner, they need a real one. Capricorns know no one is flawless. But they will not tolerate empty words, inconsistent energy, a relationship where they're doing all the heavy lifting. They'd rather be single and stable than attached and emotionally malnourished. And if you think you can guilt them into staying, think again. They see through emotional manipulation like a crystal clear lens. They know when they're being breadcrumbed, and they do not dine on crumbs. Open door the moment they decide they deserve more. The most terrifying moment in any relationship with a Capricorn is not when they get upset. It's when they go quiet, when their voice softens, when their energy stops reaching out. Because that's when they've already decided, this doesn't match my value. This doesn't feed my future. This doesn't deserve my presence. And when they make that decision, they don't second guess it. They don't revisit it. They just leave. With dignity, with grace, and with no intention of returning. Coming next. Reason 12. They never forget, and karma always remembers. You may think you got away with hurting a Capricorn, but Saturn has a longer memory than you do. And karma, it moves slowly, but when it arrives, it never misses. Reason 12, they never forget, and karma always remembers. Capricorn scales #candle#. You thought they'd forgotten. You thought their silence meant forgiveness. You thought your betrayal vanished into the past. But here's what you didn't know. Capricorn doesn't have to punish you, because karma already has the blueprint. The long shadow of Saturn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, lord of time, karma, justice, and consequence. While other signs may scream in rage or lash out for closure, Capricorn steps back. Not out of weakness, but because they understand something deeper. I don't need revenge. I just need time. Time will do everything I don't. Capricorn knows that life has a perfect memory. That actions echo. That energy returns. And so they don't chase apologies. They don't beg for truth. They simply trust the wheel will turn. Fire storytime. The one who thought she got away. Liam was a Capricorn man. Quiet. Loyal. Deep. He helped his partner through illness. Paid her debts. Supported her career. She cheated on him anyway. He found out. Did he scream? No. Did he expose her? No. He just vanished. Blocked her. Moved cities. Never looked back. Years later, she wrote him a long message, filled with regret and realization. He didn't respond. He didn't have to, because the karma was already doing its work. Capricorn's memory isn't about vengeance. They remember not to punish, but to protect. They remember how you treated them, so they never walk back into a place where they were undervalued. But it's deeper than that. Because when Capricorn detaches emotionally, they also let the universe attach consequence. It's not a curse. It's not a spell. It's cosmic balance. You'll see it when your next relationship mirrors the pain you caused them. You find yourself haunted by their absence in quiet moments. You wonder why success tastes hollow without their presence to witness it. Capricorn didn't do this to you. You did. And now Saturn collects the debt. Crystal ball, the power of the unsaid. The most chilling thing about Capricorn isn't what they say when you hurt them. It's what they never say. No closure. No confrontation. No catharsis. Just stillness. Space. And a silence that grows louder as time goes on. Because you start to realize you didn't just lose them. You lost their energy, their protection, their loyalty, their structure. And life begins to show you what absence really feels like. And Capricorn, they've moved on. Not because they didn't care, but because they chose their evolution over your apology. Because they trust the one law more ancient than love. Everything returns to its source. Are you ready for the final part? Final reflection, the silent strength of Capricorn and the soul lesson they came to teach us all. This last chapter will gather all 12 reasons into one final truth: why hurting a Capricorn isn't just a personal mistake. It's a spiritual test you'll keep repeating until you finally understand what real value, real respect, and real energy feel like. Final reflection, the silent strength of Capricorn and the soul lesson they came to teach us all. Capricorn candle #. When a Capricorn walks away, they don't just leave your life. They leave a void, a quiet, sacred space where loyalty once lived, where effort once breathed, where protection once stood like a fortress between you and the chaos of life. And in that space, you start to hear what they never said out loud. The truth. 12 reasons, one unbreakable truth. Over the last 13 chapters, we've uncovered what makes Capricorn so easy to underestimate and so impossible to replace. They value dignity. They give loyalty like armor. They wait, but not forever. They remember everything. They plan for futures most people can't even imagine. They respect hard work. They rise when others would collapse. They know their worth. They walk away when needed. They don't need your approval. They never accept less than they give. And they trust karma more than confrontation. What do all of these things point to? Capricorn is not here to play games. They are here to mirror your soul. To show you what it means to stand firm. To love deeply without losing self-respect. to build connections that are real, not performative, to teach you that silent love is stronger than loud intention. Fire, the real power of Capricorn. The truth is, when you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just facing their emotions, you're facing their alignment with cosmic justice. They don't react with explosions. They transform. They transcend. And when they do, you'll feel it. Not in their absence, but in what their absence reveals about you. Because Capricorn's energy leaves an imprint. A weight. A reminder. This is what it felt like to be loved with quiet integrity. And once it's gone, you may spend your entire life chasing what you didn't recognize, until it was no longer yours. #final lesson. The mountain doesn't move, you do. Capricorn is the mountain. Steady. Silent. Resolute. And if the mountain no longer lets you climb it, it's because you disrespected the trail. This is your invitation to pause, reflect, and ask, have I truly honored the people who love me silently, but deeply? Have I overlooked those who show up without fanfare, but never fail me? Have I mistaken stillness for weakness? Because Capricorn doesn't exist to be worshipped. They exist to wake you up. To the truth. To the value of effort. To the cost of betrayal. To the sacred weight of loyalty. Candle # if you're a Capricorn reading this, know this. Your silence is not emptiness. Your withdrawal is not cruelty. Your standards are not too high. You are the embodiment of Saturn's wisdom, the Earth's resolve, and time's quiet judgment. You are not cold, you are clear. You are not distant, you are discerning. And never, ever let the world confuse your calm with compromise. Because what you offer, when given freely and with heart, is a gift few will ever truly understand. Until it's gone. Clapperboard, final call to action. If you've walked this entire journey with us, you know this wasn't just about Capricorn, it was about truth. About energy. About respect. About karmic consequences in relationships. So now, we invite you to join the conversation. Have you ever experienced a Capricorn's silent goodbye? Or are you a Capricorn who had to protect your peace, even if it meant letting go? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story could help someone else finally see themselves. And if you've felt seen in this video, subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed, where we dive into the soul of every sign with reverence, depth, and fire. More mysteries await. More truths are ready to be unlocked. This was Capricorn. And next, we climb again. Capricorn fire.